Hello everybody, welcome back to this instructional video on JSE Data Foundry. So the topic of this video is managing paging via your subscription. So to do this, I'm going to introduce you to the product called My Instrument Statistics History. And you should have watched my previous video, so all of this should be familiar to you. But in a nutshell, on this product, we've got a JSON output type, which I'm consuming over HTTP content as an API, and I already have a subscription here ready to go, which is called default. I'm just going to rename it as demo for video, just to make it explicit what I'm actually working on. So as I've saved it right now, you will notice this option around pre-paging. So all of these other options I've discussed in Introduction to Subscriptions, but pre-paging requires a little bit of special explanation. So let's start by running this product, and I want you to take note of the fact that 1,000 objects has been returned in this JSON payload. Right, so that implies there's more. And the way you know that there's more in Foundry is when you get to the end of this payload, you'll find this next link at the bottom, and it will have a URL which will allow you to click on and access the next set of data. So you'll notice it's exactly the same link as before, except it brings back a skip of 1,000. So the first hit gave you 1,000. If I say skip 1,000, it returns the rest of the data in a secondary download or payload, as we say. If I go to the bottom of this payload, you'll see in this case, and this is not always the case, but in this case, there's no more data, there's no next link, which means that your data has been returned to you in two separate payloads, 1,000 at a time. The second payload, if we evaluate the count, is 825. The first payload is the maximum for this particular product, which is typically set at around 1,000, and there you have it. So really what you have is 1,825 data points. And this is, remember, a product called Instrument Statistics History. So this is giving you daily data for 1,825 days, which I think is roughly 5 years. Okay, so this is cool, but it also implies that you've got a developer accessing the data, looking for a next link, and then executing the next link and opening up an indefinite amount of data pages. Right, so this data is a little bit technical to get your hands on because there's a lot of it. So if you do have a developer, this could be a very efficient way of navigating through the different data pages. But if you want to look at this data, for example, in a report or some sort of a front end that can consume JSON data but doesn't know how to page it, this is where pre-paging comes in. So currently, as you can see, pre-paging is set to no. If I was to switch this on and save this product, what Data Foundry will now do is it will automatically iterate through all of the pages. Now in this case, we know that there's 2 pages. We saw that by manual inspection, and we expect 1,825. So if I now run the product with pre-paging yes, right, it's been activated, what will actually happen, well, let's just have a look, is it will bring back, let me make this pretty, 1,825 data points in one payload. And that is pretty awesome. So again, if you're a developer, you can iterate through the data or the pages by hitting the next link. But if you just want access to this data in a spreadsheet, for instance, that is not what you want. You want us to give you all of the data in one go. And that is what pre-paging allows you to do. So this option here, called pre-paging, is very powerful. I'm going to do it once more. So what I'll do is I'll switch pre-paging off, save the product, and I'll run it. You'll notice 1,000 objects, and if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll notice a next link with the same API call, except we're skipping the first 1,000 because they are already present currently. If I click on this, it'll fetch the next page, which only has 825. And because you know you can get 1,000 objects in one go, you would expect not to find a next link in the bottom of this payload. which is exactly the case. So this is the default scenario. If you don't want to do that, you can simply switch pre-paging on, save the product, and then if you run it, and this time I'm going to run it differently, I'm going to copy the URL just to remind you, same exact thing. I'm going to paste it into the browser, hit enter. And in this case, I get a rather large payload with 1,825 objects in one payload. Very convenient. So you have the option, the power is under your control by this pre-paged option on any one of your access tokens. Cool. I hope that makes sense. I'll see you next time.